Alright, I'm back in the living room for the MT-07 build. Now I've got the battery box in, I can see how far back the loom needs to sit. The fuse boxes clip into that, so once I've got them lined up, that should be the loom pulled through just enough. I figured pulling the loom from the front of the bike to the back of the bike was the easiest option. Even though there's loads of connectors here that I'm pulling through, there's like more connectors and spurs coming off the other end of it. So this just seemed the easiest way. So there's a few things in this bundle. There's the fuse boxes, the diagnostics port, the rear lights, the engine ground, the main ground, and the starter. Then at the top end of the bike, we've got the fuel pump relay, the rectifier connectors, the ignition, and then there's a couple of sensors as well, and the indicator relays and such that go up in the little tray. So I need to feed them down and around. I'll come back to them. I just want to get them down there, make sure everything pulls okay. Then coming down the right hand side of the bike off another little spur, there's the brake pedal sensor, the O2 sensor, and the oil pressure sensor, which loops around to the front end of the engine. Now I've got everything loosely in place, I can jiggle the loom back if I need to and get the fuse boxes clipped in. So I'll start with the tip over sensor and then move to the fuse boxes. These just clip into the battery tray. Then I just need to find the starter relay, which is hiding on the floor somewhere, or the sofa. I don't know, there's bike bits everywhere. Turns out when you take motorbikes all the way to bits, they take up a lot of room. While I was looking for that, I actually found the rear seat lock, which makes me think I better get that in while I'm here, as it actually sits under all the rear light cables and then slots under the back with the rear light. So seems like a good place to put it in. I don't need to get it tight at this point, but as you can see how I'm moving all the cables about, it'd be nice to get it laid underneath them.
I've made videos about F1 gearboxes before, but this is by far the most modern.
And yeah, me ramming the bolt through that hole just then did just chip the paint. And then while I'm here, I might as well get a back light fitted. Nice, quick, simple job. See, I say that, but I can't even get the wire through the hole. Most of the rear light on this bike is actually held on by the fairings. It's just got these two rubber mounted bolts to hold it in, but everything else it just clips around the fairings. That's the end of that little side mission. I found the starter relay, so that just clips on a little post in front of the main fuse box, and then one of the loom connectors plugs into it, so it can enable the power going through when you do the key. and obviously the ignition. So then that gives me both sides of the battery connectors there. So that's the starter solenoid. That's the bit that puts power to the starter motor. So that gives us our positive lead. That's the plug for that, I believe. Yeah, it goes that way around. I don't want to push on stuff. So this is my O2 sensor cable, which I don't run a stock one. I run a wideband sensor, and then that connects to this little controller, which then connects to the O2 sensor port on the wiring loom. It basically makes it so you can run a wideband sensor without any sensor faults, and then if you've got auto tune or active tune, which my bike has, it allows the ECU to real time update the mixture of air and fuel. So this is just a way after you've had the bike tuned to keep it as close as possible to what it should be. Because you don't want to lean out a turbo bike because it can be quite catastrophic if you do. And then the other non-standard plug that I've got in there is just so I can connect my bike to my laptop. It allows me to flash it, change settings in the ECU, and monitor the AFR. That's it for the wiring loom, because I've just had the bollocking thought of I need to get the ABS lines in. I kind of thought in my head I'd do the brakes at the end because then all the wheels can be on and everything like that. But I realised there's two hard lines that go through the between the battery box and the plenum and go down to where the back brake foot pedal is. And I've got a funny feeling that's supposed to be the first bit that goes on the frame. So I think I've flamingoed up there, and I'm going to have to rectify that before I move on with anything, just in case. So I need to find those bits, have a cuppa, and think about what I need to do next. Alright, cool. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in a bit.